Agupa Show.
Half a day, buenas dan saludo para todo si manik binigit programan Marianas Agupa. Ang Sabado talo Stefania nos ginini oran alas 9 gigagan hasta oran alas 11. Undang kululu na kulo para todo samzo na manik binigi 100.3. Rito tumbulo ko Stefania nos gi unsenmit na kapasidad elektrisidad gari. Gitararanas inadingan fino tomorrow gi TuneIn Radio, live estilo kay Marianas Agupa, YouTube, dan Facebook. Para todo samzo naman kung ginin gadbo na islan sa ipan, papa, tinian, luta, para ato siya man luta gwenog ige katan na itatunga na nos kwantos grano ha, law silin barbo. Para man luta gwenog islan Guam, special na kulo, para manggay gigid sa Honolulu, Hawaii, dan America, in California, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, Texas, Idaho, manggay gigwanaw siya giza Florida, giza Virginia, lokit na manggay siya manaw-tawta, dan interit mundo, in felicita todo do samzo half a day, para todo do samzo na maniiko, tana, paha esti hila na nota, ginin este sempre na itasoda futuro para todo dosit dan para ato siya man mamamayla siya na henerasyon. Potente este na inadingan gonebay na timan afatsa hinaso law ginin inatok pin hinaso afanelos na sempre itasoda futurota. Sinige no gonebay na hakadidakit dan kuna bay lokit na fan mudzo hit iman masasangan winigit programata law importante nata lang nos huzo masusesidi galo misengsong ginin islan sa ipan tinian luta loki gwenog imani luta gwenog islan Guam. Smela data sige po na sa pagod na dia abrit dia 27 2024 después de mafanyagon Hesus Kristo. Importante na tahasulo kwi, isay na tala za hululo. Isinya man malefay na finonya si difunto si Monsignor Antonelli na ginin guiza zan giza guiza. O si Tronkon Kava na parata kalangit pago na Sabado. Hafa na Kava, guiza eno ipupulon aniti. Amon eno mga man malefa. Ahiti eno ha no Afadu ti enawa mausanya ji sakaw tantuhita gwini manasisibya eno para amot ipupulon aniti. Sepya ta explica di muna sa guaha uno na komitsyante humuhugo enaw pa na Sabado. Lo pinini namela jata fansige mo na gwini jata noy saludo sigenti siya na humuhugo. Iprogramata ginini tutol niya maski 15 anyos. Iprograman Marianas Agupa. Anonymous donor dong kululu na Jus Masik putudulo ko ajudo minig programata Diabetes Prevention Foundation Jus Masik loke ini tuton yesti dylantaber.com sa stata na hujunga si Dylan izonya artificial intelligence. All right, hear more at dylantaber.com. Usinigi humuhuwi namala talang nos lokesti time check para pagod na Sabado na matumag este kini Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center. amot dyan hinimlo. Ibrahim Pharmacy dyan Central Maulik na hinimlo. Pronto dyan listo na sedition amot para hinimlo. Agang watu di 233 amot 233-2668. Email is over prescription di brahmomeds@gmail.com. Mabababa ginin lubis esta business. Ginin ioran alas 9 giga. Esta ioran alas 6 ipupulong Sabalo. Ginin ioran alas 9 giga. Esta ioran alas 1 Agang watu di 233 amot 233-2668. All right, Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center. Mga man malifa pa rin refill yamot nidzo. Bisita watu giz garapan kagman o sino inway po na ramas. Time check at 9:05. Talulu. Gipresenti pa ako. Wala, natapan sige mo nagbinilopi sa tanoy ng kulo na sa ludo. Natus promududo si ng kanota. Gininduta, tinian, saipan. Inin siya na komersyante na muna gwagwaha. Lokwi. Finata gi garapan public farmers market. Mga man malefa na ginin ipromududo sining kanota, ipuno na mas on round na tsotso, iparang produce ng kanomo. Sa masya maonosti na nasyon, mastat kilulu. Sa tawza siya kumalamting sang tawza putilisamo. Kasi nigeno lansero na inimbrabrasa adyo siya loki pescador. Alright? Tapos inigeno, bisita wato si Leroy, si Paula, gigarapan public farmers market. Alright? Mga man malifan no? I-otro na humuhugwi, loki, para Paula sabi, CNS store, we just Hagas Pugwa store, is a middle road. Pago CNS store, kumusiya autoridad Pugwa, mga man malefan no? Saipan Pugwa, Guam Pugwa, Yap Pugwa, Ponape Pugwa, nanggayigigwi naman mafapata. Guasya Loqui Fresco na Starbucks coffee, no loco, dyan Micronesian, no na guian siya mag-fresco, mangrove crab, mga man malefa. Nasangin tiyong bisita, siya esta malatsay, no, bisita wato. O sino agang wato gi 670-484-1267. 670-484-1267 or 670-287-1267. Lutsek ko gwagwaha. Alright, kung sinigay no? Zangwaha siyan malago nezi lilikta sakao. Pupulon aniti na siya inamtihaw. Kusek wato, agang wato, CNA Store, Middle Road, Garapan. I-otro binilokri na isaw na talang huzong, mga man malefa na bumiyahaw papa luta, mga malefa na Saga, Gikoro Garden Rota Hotel. Kaya gikan tuntasi, tseksikindo o sinosire. Mga man malefa nila. Alright, pues mela, data pansige mo na lokri, data lang nus i-klema para pa na sabalo. Makatumagis di gini ni Joten Markets and Department Store Shop, local shop Joten. Today's weather is brought to you by Joten Markets and Department Store Shop, local shop Joten. I-klema bago na hagi. Pinapatutusihan sa gini ni Midtown Joten zan i-department of Tendency. Shop local, shop Joten. Alright. Shop local, shop Joten. Mga man malifan no? Mala, data lang nus i-claim para pa wala sa balon nelos. Sa hanggan para italuan ni 85 i-graduan ni Pogaygi no? Might be hit anak fan dangsungit sa humidity loki gaygi kahulwa loki gi 88% afanielos. Itsansane pa utsan para pago na sablo kanda 10% ha. Itsansanya pues sinya ha matto za sinya ha timatto. Eno na porsyento itasasangan. Imanglo no sinya ha no matto sinya gwenaw gi 20 meters gi ora. Ginin hadza logo lutsan za ha ridonde islata. Ini ginaw na kinalamting Mapatumag yan, no? Ginini Joten Markets and Department Store Shop, local shop, Joten, mga malefa. Iupi ko na tindan tano. Palo siya, no, puro siya tindan ibisima siya, migay niya hizon. Stigesti na fafay naman ang tauta, mga malefa natin. At suda lokwi, izota loko, hagagasa, manepli. Sa typhoon pati typhoon, tuli tempo gagaygiha. Alright? Kasi nigyan na Joten Markets and Department Stores. Alright? Pues mala, datafan sige mo na pa ako na sabalo special na bisitata si Sekretarya ginin Departamentun i-Finance. Wiza mo maniniya salapi i-gobernamento si Mrs. Tracy Nurita. Pero kay giwinig oran alas 10. Kasi niya magumbida di no taw-taw niya o sino manggatsong niya gini. Esta siya manholong gi connection i virtual. Pwede si Tracy magtumagi binigi izota studio. Kasi nigay na gi oran alas 10 na para tayo kung hapa siya lokwi na adilanto gibandan financiat maano na man sitsing lungit hapa kinalamting niya ekonomiyata gibandan siya i-revenue naman mafato. Alright? No, bala, datafan sige mo na sa gwa special na kulo para tanahujong para si Ana Mendiola Lokwe. Happy birthday, kulo Ana. Dengan umi iku kau. Alright, iagata Ana Mendiola. Iagata Lokwe si Imelda Atalik. Happy birthday, kulo. Mili, para hogo. Si Jenna Babauta Lokwe. Iagata Jenna, happy birthday, kulo para hogo. Alright. Jessica Castro. Happy birthday, kulo prahago Jessica Castro. Lucy Blanco Maratita. Bueno, Papa Tinian. O sino, kanan gaya si Lucy Saipan esta. Happy birthday, kulo prahago. Roland De Leon Guerrero. Happy birthday, kulo. Tangin ko ka Roland. Ikakata suck him up. Now that? Alright, Jerry Mendiola. Happy birthday, kulo. Primo. Pero Papa Tinian. Si Herman Sablon. Oh my goodness, si Ma. Sa birthday niya, Lokwe. Tana, nagigya. Alright. Si CJ Alexandro Castro. Isota Chief Justice. Tingin ko kau, Chief Justice Castro, happy birthday, kulo para hogo. Kalano mafaksa yun na dyan 35 na no cumpleaños judicio. No inigeno na inafaksa birthday niya, ma-birthday, geno na dialogwe. CJ Alexandro Castro, happy birthday, kulo. So, ninay na sign na lokwe, no Figo, zon kontinua muna. Alright. Norma Borja, happy birthday, kulo prahago Norma. Juana De Leon Guerrero, happy birthday, kulo. Si Zita Pangilinan, Guanaw Islan Guaham, zangin ko kao Zita. Alright. Pues hindi na Panilos. Florence Barcinas, happy birthday, kulo Florence. Para si Balloon Kulo este. Alright, para si Kai Lizama. Alright, gagi sa Korea este. Kai Lizama. Alright, daging guahag no kulo no talag no sa gwini kung guahong maulong gano gi makinata. So, sinimbago mala, datafan sige mo nagwini. Dong kululu na adios para si Guelo of Padang, bago na ni tiro niya. At manidbi, ituton niya si Guelo of Padang, manidbi gi Departamentong Komersyo. Gislanduta, gi 1994, sige mo na. Asedbi maski 8 anyos. Después, sumanaw ba ito, manidbi gi opisina ni Alcade, umananawa, presente pa ako. Inigay no tuton niya lo antisa di no. Guasya istorya niya. no uno na kumabisadzi i grupon esti i para maninbetti minigi Islanduta itutonye no uno na kumpanya gihalon i 12 na kumpanya na iparomad nagwaha dilanto gizaluta uno na kumpanya humuzon gihalon i 12 za sumaunaw za guizaha tumutuhon esti na kumpanya maagang S&M Bizaji i presenti pago dumilutsa na kumpanya sa otro mo manenia lo ituton niya no siguro fadang umintroduce halo i tinini na grupo lagi enaw uno na kumpanya i sumea gialumidosi za mamatina sa desisyon niya después pumuzong na gumawa Rota Resort sige mo na siguro fadang humalong wini gi uno na pumadlinuzes ti Marianas Agupa gi 2009 na sakat na mababay ti programata sa uno sa dongkululo na judo wini i bula siya ha ajuda isti para matuge niya siya i diksenaryon sa moro istoryan ilate dan tafkawa siya na istorya pumatisipaw bandan amot uno na zoanti siguelo fada dan tiufan malefa i tawtaw luta dan interamenti tawtaw Marianas na palabra siya na halalang nusloke siguelo fadang binigit programata kusin mas ano gipas da isay nagat summo welo fadang para itay hinikog na diskanso si Jesus masik po to diya sudo. Alright po si otro binisya na sulto daw nata langno suzo. Dini na wala data no ay congratulations si Chief Justice Ramona Mangloña. May makonfirma binigi mapos na semana. Dos BIST na makonfirmasyon. Umuzong na 10 anyos talo para Sidbi kumubi sa Chief Justice binigi District Court. Daw kululoy na unro matanso uno na tawtawta kubapaw kabisaji lo kwesti i District Court agagasa si Alex Munson rengi pago na gumaha mismo tawtawta para dinirimo na esti i kutin i federalis. Congratulations para si Chief Justice Ramona de la Gomez Mangloña. Alright? I-otro gwini na sige ha, lumaylay gwini. Agaga taiste, tasasangana na waha siya no saranyesti i 2018 na sakan. No inigi gimagayat na tempo anay pago no dumilog saka i Imperial Pacific di siya manapasi. Di siya hanga punhadsan ito na construction gula siya kwenta ti apapasi ginin eno na tempo. Di siya mon masagbay no lo humana na size city anyo si Stefan Lanpago no Stapago za tana na no ha payo gi chapter 11 para reorganiza wi para fanaligaw siya fondo para apasi di binya dan no kita tungo ko enigi para sa salan niya para maagon konsidera talo na i lottery commission o sino i casino commission para kontinua lo ano sigun ginin i decision este siya imanggay igwini na tikapas typhoid size ta no tinahong kodo para katsubi muna no zata komprendiha na kumpanyan soba este na tisinya muna na fanafaksa siya no iparauna punhansan este i casino na building maopera i casino law umaano na tinahong bulas siya no timan afaksa siya lokwe no bulas siya kwenta timan mapapasi sa ginininaw na ihumuzong na gumaha desisyon para ma-revoke ito na casino license lo atala na maditeni talo po dia 5 chapter 11. Tungo para ngayan estilo zangin kita kumprependiha pues parangayan na para ta komprendi na mala zata tulay ka posisyon niya no za masyaw mafa hotel convention center zo katan sino mausa masya hafa na para gay bali sa gipresenti tay bali ezo na building katan casino. Alright, kung sinigi na manggay gihit no kau man mafafana tempo buying time para agon organisa ti tagif tisina mastay honggi esti na kumpanya sigun gini ni man sasangan huzong gini esti manggay gini na representante sa ti umaafat sa siya yung ofrecimiento dan half pamapasis niya. Alright, kung sinigi na manggay gi manaw ta za malingan za takat izo ta loss nagpatasigya esti siya no umatindi za agon tutuhon talo na siya mas amenda izo na lay za siya managwaha oportunidad para otro na klasin aktibidad komersyante gikatan sinigi no otro gini na gumabisita gini na semana fanielos magmatto siya no bisita gini USDA za mafidma no memorandum of understanding dan izo ta loko Northern Marianas Housing Corporation mafidma esti na tratos sa maski 10 anyos na disti na tumanza esti na asistimento first time home owners na siya no umadzaw itaw zaman has sa gimanya mana pare non tilacio 10 anyos za pago na mafidma esti na tratos maagon activate talo pues para ajo siya igwaha no lugar niya no naisinya mausa verify na lugar mo itano siya umazo nesti siya bisita guato si Northern Marianas Housing Corporation naisinya unsuli mas informasyon por este sinige otro wini zawa na may patsa esti gwa humuzo manoy mo gi programan Marianas Agupa na esti bisinuta giza Palau no naigumahalo kwi tratos niya friendship zan Dubai zan India umuzong yan no na humanoy presidente za President Palau za manago ti kanay zan prince na Dubai zan India no kwi prime minister so maano na ginino na friendships niya lokwi esti bisinuta hanaan mas kudunya hana midgut mas kudunya di para na hamo na ekonomiya niya maanong esti na sigun gini tratos na mafidma zan Amerikano como independent wizaha gwa presidente ti mampareo na klaseng politika zan hita gwini na hita manggaygi papa eziling niya i-covenant gipapa afa banderan Amerikano law man familia hit gibandan politiko union na manhihita ugan gwa siya tratos tafidma zan edo siya na benepisyo paratafan manggote na siya iling niya passport man halom siya assistimentun food stamps dan hapa siya na federal assistance dahil nagi ipaw na manggaygi ekonomiyata ibandan federal nagi za hululo inatiti jeno siya dan militar za minatres ibandan tourism dahil fino niya speaking on the tourism esti ocean economy humuzong esti gini nas delegate kilili na mattutsinya gwena gisigiha mo na ibandan tasilo kwi ha stira kwi por lo menos 2,191 na tao man matsutsutsu winigi bandan tourism, recreation, marine, ocean economist din ma lista pa ka za matos din na report, inuibo na report na humuzong ginin National Oceanographic Administration, NOAA. Alright? Ang represente maski 110 milyon na fuitsan balin salapi gimagang gross domestic product. Ini gino balinya gi paraun dibideno gi dididi na populasyon ta por lo menos 43,000 na tao madibideno za no kwanto zangin dibideno gi halom na talia para todo sa jene maniko 110 million represente na GDP. Okay, and 43 na total. Balin 25,000 kada uno. Ini ginaw balinya. Kung dividiano galong 43 na total na manggaygi na population. Na 110 billion pesos estiha representa siya na tautoy man matsutsutsu bueno recreation tourism and recreation representa balin 25,000 pesos kada uno na tauto bueno gi paagan 2,191. Alright, ini gino gi Canada na eksplikasyon usdong kulo balinya na pwede sa lokwe representa na industriya tourism and recreation. Alright, kung sinigay kanilos, kityung sagugot, sipitan na alam sigwela agatete, ilo kanini na, wasya man masusisidi gwena gi islan sa Amerika, esta tatungo na esta si former President Trump, umuzong esta na gumaygi gi kausanya ni si todo bali siya tsogi como presidente ha. Ita si absolute immunity, kumaygi esta gi sa hululo na kote, esta mababa opening statement, esta sige mo na man akonseha abogao siya, hafa na debut manoy, and hafa na ti debut manoy na immunity. Os gay geno, sabiati umuzong idesisyon, siya no umuzong utro niya mes, o sino gi kunyo na mes, na desisyon ikaw todo bali como presidente ng Estados Unidos. Otro na asunto na ihumuzong lokwe na esta si presidente si President Biden, humuzong esta na hafidma edi 95 billion pesos para ajuda iza Ukraine zan iza Israel. Como siya na nasyon izota United States of America na manggaygi lokwe kung siya kumabisasaji muna interi mundo nasyon siya para ugwaha mas demokrasya zan pas gitano kung siya gumihilului ifuetsan militar zan tudusa fuetsan salapi inigi za matusinya gwenaw na ajudo para pasa za para utsalapon na kantidad bilyon 95 bilyon pesos wahag yung banda man gogunggong sa hafan na para ufan maajuda siya ipumalo na nasyon hafan na ti nasyon niya fininina hafan na ti taw-taw niya fininina uswaha siya na taw-taw ta no wahasya siya na solidano ng Amerikano ti masupuput tayo na parokan matsalapo din na kantidan salapi hujun. Apa na ti taw-taw niya na man mamadedis. Kasi ni ginaw na gumaha siya inatungtong sa Washington po este. Sa inigi muna agang dyan muna muna fan bububu siya i Republican. Sa sinya ha mana huzong si speaker po este i maha aprueba ko este i 95 billion pesos. Alright? Dididi na komparasyon ano man majudet wini 1 billion pesos ita isa Marianas handa matut sinya gweno 1 billion este po kan majudet siya 95 billion pesos dong kuduloy na sa lapit para adso siya manggagilaw inigi ito itasasangan para ugwapas kitano sa zanggin man safo gilugat niya inasun niya pues man safo higwini mga na utsalapon wi siya gera ginin izugwat sa Ukraine za uhat ni hit lokwi gwini sa Marianas zan iman iluta gi sa Guaha us wahay no siya pues sanya na argumento iman argumento kau bali zan tibali elaw na adjudo okay no inigi man susesidigi dong kululu na plaset politika sa hita gwini umpungpung ita niti aanukit gimapa apong kumpare no pus ipalabrata dyan kwentutos ta siya huzong siya ti taibali no giezo na plaset komunikasyon sa Amerika sa tinahong pwesata itaw-taw kumikwentos zanggin dong kululu betsanya siya komento so lamigay punsangan sa siya maikong ko law zanggin tay betsahaw tinahong i betsamo pues edwa siya unsangan i gaygi betsamo siya mas komento so us hitag wini na manta pepelay ta gi ekonomiyan sanhizong gi gobernamenton Amerikano tibulala siya para tastangan safa sa edwa kapasidad ta ihafa gaygi gi putan monedata langin enoha salapi ita nanangga iman mafatu ginin hizong pues tibulala siya tastangan. Alright, so sa gi Canada eno na eksplikasyon naman parewita dali man dinuta wa mas dididi guam adilanto sa mas dong kulo na ekonomiya guam gaygi militar inigi namang gaygi iparata fananaw wa tuloki gweno basta sige mo na asunto iparo ma develop island tinian para divert airfields and training ground zaginin inaw loki na siya ta apelahit siya mulaludo dididi kuduta na siya dididi man maikukit kung manggaygi loki gwini militar inigi na direksyon i gobernamento ta hatsutsuli sa hakakazon mo na inigi na kampas na manghahanawit mo na. Right? Kung sinhaf na detensyon sa siguro na titi siguro nesta no manunong niya sa tiyutsago ko loki na kolom si Guela buenas Guela
Ako, function. Adik ko ginuno.
Mangye shumapi.
Ketika menurut.
Alright, nagasa si Guela gatiti tiyo mga halong trivia. Alright, digin si Guela.
Ay, yeah.
Alright, digin si Guela gatiti. Buenas, Guela gatiti. Konsigi mo na.
Hey, Glenn, buenas para hago. Zan todo samzu ni manay kungo. Ang huzung ginini sangkatan na isla siya sa ipan tinian luta. Zan lokoy ginini Estados Unidos principalmente ginini gatbo na islang Guahan. Half a day todo samzu. Giminagay Glenn. Gipagawa na ora as we speak na may fin English. No, esta matataksi halo mi kunairi ni hakokune si difunto Guelo Fadang ginin sa ipan. Gof Malaguzo na parabay who covered the life lao dispensa sa Izoku Health ti autorizado na bay hujung beno gi guaifun jan manenging na lugar no taluha go fadaya am jujung beno ne manggagi kisanijung no i semnak jan i ichan sa atana na kastitigazo mana na minalangulo hususunguna. Okay, pues ketut mensahe lamigaya finenena maguf ikonsilungguahan gi ahensya para i-arts dan humanities na para umababa ifisikat sakan 2025 grand site. I-ahensya para ututuhon managsepta aplikasyon para i-grant dan i-grupon tawtaw siya ni manggay interes gi diferentes disiplina tatki como i-arts in education, performing arts, visual arts, folk arts, literature, underserved, and media arts. Este na project matutuhon gi Oktubre dia 1, 2024 hasta September 30, dia 30, 2025. Para este na programa, necesario na attende workshop ni makondudukta pago na dia Glenn o sino imamamayla gimaju dia 11, 2024 matutuhon ginini oran alas 9 giegan. Importante na submiti ifineni na aplikasyon mo guato gi ofisinan ikaha ti maski oran alas 4 gipupoingi gi Bernis, Junio 28. Importante lokwe na unattende inada niya workshop para tungo janung comprende hafana informasyon devi prepara para iultimo na submitin aplikasyon. Iultimo na para submiti i-complete na aplikasyon gioran alas 4 gipupoingi, Miyerkules, Hulyo 31. Para mas informasyon, sinyaw na agang i-ofisinan ikaha, gi telefon 671-300-1206, sino 07 o sino 08. Guaha nuevo na Youth Apprenticeship program esta matututuhon para i-hotel siya Gwini Giza Guahan. Maguf y Administración Leon Guerrero Tenorio para una fanmanu publiko na esta matututuhon i-Hotel Association Youth Apprenticeship Program. Este na programa madisigna para eduka jam prepara estudiante siya para ufam praktiko dan eksperensyal giceto na industriya. Oportunidad para estudiante gi eskwelahan takilo ni para ufan ma-training po diferentes klaseng chocho gi operasyon hotel. Maulig este na programa para ajo siya na estudiante iti malanga apas ko o sino manisisita listo na oportunidad ekonomiya para estudiante dyan o ajuda familia. Ipumalinunod si este na programa Guam Department of Labor dyan Guam Community College. Higher Regency dyan Hotel Nico Guam siya finene na hotel mo register siya para ufan emplea size na estudyante para apprentices dyan siyempre man mapapasiha lo que este siya na estudyante. Otro siya na hotel ni para ufan sauna gi programa giti amam na tempo edusi Tani Guam Resort, edusi Beach Resort, Guam Hotel Guam, dyan Guam Plaza Resort and Spa. Maninteresaw este siya na hotel sa matungo na siyempre man inajuda siya gibandan empleyado. Lokwe para uma-extende programa gibandan automotive, kareta este, kano early childhood, famagon, edukasyon, dan construction. Si Magahaga as Luliong Guerrero a proclama mayo dia 5 este dia 11 como Youth Apprenticeship Week. Para más información, hagan guato y oficina en Hotel Association Apprentice Program o si no, Youth Apprentice Week gi GDOL Guam Department of Labor. Telepon número 671-475-7000 o si no, y sujeto para imina 80 na celebración Liberation is Aguahan. Oficialmente, i oficina ni gobyerno, i konsilyon majot Guahan siya dyan ni Guam Visitors Bureau, manmago para anunsya isuheto para imina 80 na celebration. I-liberation para pago na sakan 2024. Todo i tiempo i paz para hita. Kumikiling niya gi Fino-English, peace for all of us. Masinyala, Julio 19, 20-21 para este na celebración gwinigi sa Guahan. Para Guaha memorial na ceremonias, misa, gupo siya zan i-Liberation Day Parade. Sempre Guaha mas informasyon por este na okasyon gimamamayla siya na tiempo. I-administrasyon, Leong Guerrero Tenorio, masa poputa, i-Campang of Fria, is an acronym na COFA, C-O-F-A, para ufan mana sauno, man ma-assisti gini ni FEMA, pud i-malingon niya durante ni Pagzun Mawar. I-goberno as Luliong Guerrero, dan segundo goberno, as Justin Orio, makatataji si Honorable Diane Criswell, administradora ni FEMA, ma-requesta na itauto i-Campang Free Association ni Manyasagagwaham gi durante ni Pagzun Mawar na STC na tauto lokwi ufan kwalifikaw para ufan maajuda gini ni FEMA. Tati gimatsu dia bago na sakan, si President Biden afirma i-HR 4366, Guiza ST i-Consolidated Appropriation Act of 2024. ST ha incluso i-Campang Impact Fairness Act, ha istetende lihibli guatu gitaw-taw i-freely associated states ni Manyasaga giza Amerika para ufan ma-assiste lokwe gini ni federal. Abril 2, 2024, oficialmente, i-FEMA anuncia todo taw-taw i-COFA ni Manyasaga giza Maui durante ikumason di 2023 para ufan kwalifikaw para individuals and households federal program assistant. Por esta na razón, si Luliong Guerrero ha requesta guatu gi FEMA kau sinyalong ke umanai pareho na tratamento izaguan gi durante i-distroson ipagzun mawar ni para ufan ma-ajuda itaw-taw Campang of Free Association. An mana tempo na itay beneficio itaw-taw Campang of Free Association gimega na programa ginin i-FEMA. Siya mismo man manajujuda, man manapapasi contribution tax para mega siya na programa federal. Mas klaro pago na uma-extendi pareho na beneficio, guatu gizaguahan, dyan uma-ina mas i-programan FEMA kosa ki ufan maajuda, aju na los prohimos, imanggay defekto ginin i-program Pagzun Mawar, dyan timang kwalifikaw antes di umafit Presidente ng Amerika i-HR 4366. Espesyal na anunsyo ginin ni Departamento ni Revenues and Tax. Manafan manunungo toro'y publiko na exhibition online gi myguamtax.com o sino pay my.guam.gov dyan my.guam.gov temporaryo mapuno pud para arregla i-upgrade infrastructure ginimpago na ni Abril 20 7 estay gi alas 8 pago gigan estay Abril 29 gi alas 8 y que emprenden mizo dan pinansensian mizo por este asunto mas sen agradece. Si Diyos maasi puri tempon mizo manay kungo gwini na programan Marianas Agupa Conversación Finut sa Moro gi uniko na estasyon FM 100.3 na radio station. Adios Tore Samson.
Okay, si Diyos maasi gwela agatiti sa no utugwa na bualoke para hinanaw mo los como sinya sumagawa hasta ultimo ni programata mo ka. Bago sa nging guwapen mo, okay, takumprendia. Pues esta si Diyos masi, mala, zatapan sige mo nagwini, apanyelos. Guagwini humuzong gini ni opisina ni at kadiluta si Mia Aubrey Hokuk na mamamayla na sobalo para gayigwini para tapanita para explicalo questi Gilita Festival, Guput Gilita Festival. Este gi Mayo 24 dan 20, este 26, 2024 este. Zabula siya para mafata no gima higay guput Gilita este gizaluta para mafata diferentes klase ng kano. Pero tinatidya na dyan is dealing niya agricultural fair. Otro meses ni. Después para guaha cultural presentation para mafata siya diferentes klasin Filatinas artista isla luta. Pues muna dyan no, Domingo, Mayo 26, sige ne para man mafatina siya man mangi siya na kadon azuzu zan different klase ng kano. Alright, pues naging guatin po nito nagi man mafafaisin na siya loki mananon sa papalita. Alright? Lo para tafanita binigi mamamayla na Sabado. So nigi no afanielos para pago mala na talang no seste sa gitu tsogo manita zan sekretarya ginin departamento ni finance Mrs. Tracy Norita, binigay stasyon ta. Lo antisa di pa na halom. Okay, special na kulo para siya manggaygi si Eugene Tenorio. Alright. Okay, si Mariano, Ilaita Mariano Iglesias. Tana na umiga lokwe. Welo. Ano gipas welo fadang. Okay, si Peter Yabugao Islan Guam, Peter Santos. Alright. Kasi ni no, umafaksa lokwi zani guput mangga festival. It's a hagat. Alright. Di May 24 to 26. Umafaksa no zan masililibra lokwi. Pues sige dito sasanga na fanielos na kumukada si Mana tatutuhon para tafangguput sa inigi na manggayigihit na environment katuntasi na kumukada si Monesti tatsogi mangguputit na nagwa festival gua aktibidad niya siya i-tourist man matto. Pues inigi na manafaksa siya i aktibidad no tafafatay ng kanota kulturata inigi na magayigi for sata. Wala ba na titalipaparenaw la inigi nagayigi for sata i-tautauta, i-kustumbreta, i-kulturata, i-nengkanota. Tibulala siya lugar, na para fanega siya tourist attraction. No zaging guaha aktibidad, kada simana, no guaha aktibidad niya i-tourist naman makto sa parewa, para guaha matutsugas sa loki. Kada simana guaha aktibidad, fiesta. Alright, kasi ni gano sa wala, natapansigi mo nagwini. Okay. Malang sabi na ako basta si Dr. Secretary sa tagaigi ko ni tutungo ko guha outro. We're waiting for someone?
Yeah, I don't know if Layla's on already.
Oh, okay. Layla, okay. We're invited. Okay. No, Layla is not in the
Like
back
10.
studio. Oh, 10
10.
o'clock. Okay. So in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Pues nangganan tanangan niya yun na. Nanging guwahan no asunto. Siya tababay telefon pa ako. Para ato siya guwan tiris niya na man masalan pa ako no ugan sabalo. At isa debate so benoy loke dongkulo na agradecimiento. Kasi siya ito ta sponsors. Hindi na mala na talang nusa klima talo di mapatumagin no ginini Joten Markets and Department Store Shop Local Shop Joten. Today's weather is brought to you by Joten Markets and Department Store Shop Local Shop Joten. I-klima pa na hawani ina katutusihan kini i Midtown Joten sa ni Departamento Embassy. Shop Local Shop Joten. All right. Malakdat na lang no sa stay sa iklima na makatumawag kini ni Joten Markets and Department Stores Shop Local Shop Joten Apanielos 85 talo i-gradua para pa na Sabalo i-sansan pero tantanwi itan maski 10% Usinya ha timotos i-humidity unggan mandang sungit janging gaigil ipapasom na maski 86% pues gifaday sa para may pipa ako na hawani imanglo makatumagi ginaginin hadza logo lutsan gi 20 millas ki ora. Okay, ini geno para pa ako na sablo makatumagi no ginin ni Joten Markets and Department Store Shop Local Shop Joten. Okay. I-outro mini na para talag no sudson time check. Siyan in amo sa hinimno. I-amo pharmacy sa Central Public hinimno. Pronto sa listo na servisyo amo para hinimno. Ang watu i-233 amo 233-2668. Email isomo prescription di bravomeds@gmail.com. Mabababa ginin lunis esta business. Ginin i-oran alas 9 giga. Esta i-oran alas 6 ipupoy. Sabalo. Ginin i-oran alas 9 giga. Esta i-oran alas 9 tato. Ang watu i-233 amo 233-2668. Just go back there. All right. Ala sa hanggang time check talo 9:52 bago na Sabado maputumagi na gini Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center mga malifa tinsuli review abon mo di sa garapan kangman o sinuin may na ramas kita dandan right pues ini kayo na Apanielos bago na Sabado humuhuwi programata. Okay. Wala naman just no kananangga si Layla Stacker, ini kayo laligya si Secretary Norita, pero kay gilupig wini. Basta kay gilupig si Secretary Norita, lo guahan no akumbida lo kwi uno na cabinet member ginin ni Palacios Administration. Na siya loki man report si Layla Staffler para unapan manumoy manaw-taw tahap masusisidig ibandan kun na lero siya kapan na oportunidad manggaygig halong komunidad apan na tsotso siya mauno na man tsitsinglong ni manaw-taw ta zangin man manispiti at tsotso. Okay, pues pwede gumahan na informasyon na mapatugin ni Departamento Labor. Okay, pues mag-agatan ng ganyayo na. Likit sa gugo. Let me see if I can naulog si Dr. Secretary na gidotan no live video. All right.
I think I could change the chair.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Nagtatanaulog si Secretary.
Glenn, how does this work? Is it this microphone?
Yes,
or-
that one. Yeah. All right, there, she's Tracy. Sige, pagulo na. Okay, we're gonna be speaking in tomorrow, Tracy. Okay, limited. Okay. All right. Okay, legacy Tracy, she's gonna speak little tomorrow and combination English. All right, pues bear with us. The Betsagya to translate didi no verbatim kumusinya. Wala makan isti pa translate lo sa puro siya no Stephen English sundan. Putanti sa bulan man tota Tracy, they speak, they listen tomorrow na. But I'm sure that they're okay with a little bit English, no? Speak in English. Your dad is tomorrow, right?
Yes.
All right. So you know the language, but you're not practicing it, right?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll speak in whatever that she's comfortable. Okay. Whatever that makes you more fluid.
When we talk in for finance, it really is
Yes.
English.
Yeah.
So
we can start with you, and then when she comes, we can get to her. No, you want to do that? It's okay with that, Tracy?
sure. I have also somebody else from OPD. Is Mariano Iglesias on?
Oh no, did you invite Mariano? Okay, Mariano, I saw his his comment here on the chat. But if you send him the link, we can get him on. You send him the link already? Okay. Okay, because we haven't seen anyone yet on the link. But we have Tracy. Okay, so Tracy, tell me. Thank you. First of all, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. Is this okay?
Yes,
Yeah?
yes. Just leave it. Just leave
Okay.
it. Yeah, good. I can hear it. Fine. So, what do you call this? We tried to get you here since like March.
Yeah.
Anyway, but there's a lot of work now that you're doing.
A lot of things happening. Yeah.
Yes. We really appreciate mostly our audience are our native people.
Yeah.
So they want to hear what is going on. A lot of them don't have a computer to see or to even to buy newspaper, right? So but they listen because radio is it's free.
It reaches everybody.
It reaches everybody. So, and this is a medium that we try to bring cabinet members. I talked to Governor Palacios, as a matter of fact, since last year. He said, call them in, call everybody in,
Yeah.
so they can report the people. That's what I said, Governor, I'm going to I'm going to try my best because there's other guests that I'm putting up. So I tried my best to schedule, if it's convenient for you, then we bring you in. If it's not, we'll wait until But thank you again for coming. And this is the first time you've been to Marianas Agupa.
This is my first time. Yeah.
We've been here, Tracy, for the last 15 years. We covered a lot of government issues, reporting to our community directly. So part of your job is to give us a brief, what is really happening with the economy, with the finances, how are we doing with the reimbursement? Are we getting people to pay their dues? Are businesses paying their dues? How much money do we have from FEMA left over? And does IPI still owe us, and how much? So the people wants to know that.
Yeah,
No?
there's a lot. There's a lot to cover.
All right. So basically, I'm gonna give you the floor. I give for people a brief background on your first year in office, and what challenges have you encountered? What are the successes that you've achieved during this short period of time? So thank you again. Go ahead, Secretary.
Thank you so much, Glenn. Thank you for the invitation and just being so patient with us as we align our schedules to be here. I'm very excited to be here. I'm actually very excited to meet you. This is my first time to meet you. And so I know that this is my first time to be here. And I asked, around who is Glenn? Who is Glenn Magnolia? And I heard a lot of great things here. And I asked, around who is Glenn?
Let me see. Mariano's here. I muted him already, so go ahead.
All right. So I learned that you're a part of the Cagman Farmers Association, and I'm a resident of Cagman, and so I heard a lot of great things about you. And for me, coming into this position, Glenn, I'm a daughter of the Sinamay. I was born and raised here. My family's from San Roque in the north, and I'm just so honored to be here today to be able to communicate and connect and reach out to our listeners, our people. And I'm really here to serve the Sinamay. When the opportunity came forward to serve in the capacity of Secretary of Finance, and at that time I was serving as the Director of Revenue and Tax, I knew that there was a huge challenge ahead, but I stepped forward because I knew that I had something to offer and that I could work really hard to serve our people. And so I'm glad that the administration, the governor and the lieutenant governor, gave me an opportunity to be a part of their team. And I can say it has been a definitely overwhelming challenge. And the good thing about that is we have a great team that has come together to really help each other and to lift our community up. And so doing that work is really hard. And I know that you probably have thousands of listeners here having so many questions that touch every part of our community. And so I'm hoping today that I'd be able to share as much helpful information to our people as possible. Glenn, and you mentioned so many different subjects, and just one subject alone can take more than 30 minutes. So I'm hoping that we could touch as much as we can in terms of the subjects that relate to finance. So what I do want to start off with is I did invite other cabinet members to join because I saw this as a great opportunity to share the good work that is being done. There are a lot of challenges and thus a lot of opinions that go around, but I see my fellow cabinet members and their staff and the departments and the people that work in these departments are so hardworking, so committed, and that there are good news to share. So for me, I have good news as I go, right? There's always something that comes up. There's always a next fire. So for me, just addressing the problem at hand, resolving it and moving on, to me, that's a win. That's a win for the day. We just try to do our best. So I do have a couple announcements maybe that we could start with. First, the most exciting thing that's on my plate right now is the launch of the Customs and Biosecurity Border Platform. This is the digitization of our customs declaration form. And we're targeting this launch this coming week. And this will allow us to improve the tourist arrival experience. But most importantly, this will allow us to collect data for MVA and also to collect data for the Department of Finance to increase our ability for tax enforcement. The digital customs declaration form is really a standard. It's becoming a standard across the globe. So I'm just very happy and excited for the Sinamay to be able to provide this service, same as Guam. So if you enter Guam, you see this.
The same thing?
Yeah, it's not exactly the same. This is our own. It's customized for the Sinamay. And so that's a very exciting project that has taken over a year or more in development. Our customs personnel have been trained. We've reached out and partnered with the airlines to be able to translate this platform for all our source countries that are coming in. And so it's taken a lot of work, a lot of partnership, but we're finally ready to launch. And that's good news for the Department of Finance and Customs, Division of Customs. Another top topic that is going around recently, of course, is tax season.
Okay.
And so everybody
Are we
is
getting
that's the number one question is when is our tax coming out? And so I just wanted to stress again that yes, tax season is in full swing. The Division of Rev and Tax is processing thousands of tax forms. And we are working really hard to make sure that we have our first batch issued at least by mid-May. And so that's our target. That's almost 2 weeks from now. And so when we release refunds, that's always good news for the community.
Yes, that's right.
And we get hundreds and hundreds of phone calls following up on their tax returns. And so that's a good thing because we know that people are engaged. They want to know what's the status of my refund and when is it coming out. And we're doing our best to answer all those calls and help each and every one of them. So we're all looking forward to mid-May. You asked about how's the collection going, are people paying their fair share of taxes? As you know, the governor back in July 2023, he established the tax collection task force, which is led by the Department of Finance and assisted by other departments and agencies as well that are experienced in enforcement. And so they've done a magnificent job in accelerating the collection process. And so to date, since July of last year to now, they've been able to collect and recover approximately $13 million in additional tax collection. And that goes directly to our general fund that allows us to continue operations of the government. So I'm so proud of this team that we've put together, the staff within DRT, the Attorney General's office that has assisted our task force, and really the willingness of the business community to step up and become compliant and pay their fair share of taxes. I think that is something that should be commended as well, because when a taxpayer is willing to come in to get on an installment plan and make a payment, that helps the government. And that's all we want. We want to help people, help businesses come into compliance and figure out how can you make payment. And that's all we need to get you on the books, so that can help us as well.
Okay, let me interrupt there just a little on the munis that you guys are implementing. Is that everybody is up to speed? Why are people saying that they're not getting paid on a timely basis? I mean, what's going on with the munis? Is everybody trained, or are you still in the process of training your own people there?
Okay, so we're talking about munis. I can say that it's up and running, and it's running well right now.
Okay.
We are, I believe the staff have been trained to do the essential functions of finance.
Okay.
We've been working hard at training and learning and identifying things that need to be improved. But you mentioned a very specific case, somebody that hasn't gotten paid. There is a whole process for hiring a person and making sure they get paid before it even gets into munis, which is processing the payroll.
All right.
And so I can't speak exactly what happens in that case. There's a lot of delays that might happen in the hiring process, the routing of somebody's papers.
So it's within the communication part of the
Most likely.
from the departments to finance, from other agencies to finance, the process. That's where
we're at the end point, the end processing. Right. So once everything is done, routed, signed, complete, then it goes to finance for final.
So sometimes the problem is at the
before
early part.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I understand. Okay, so before we continue forward, let's just acknowledge the presence of your invited guests here.
Yes.
Our guests. I think we have Mariano here. Let me just let him have a few words before we proceed. And Mariano, buenas. Okay, just a few introduction. Go ahead and introduce yourself and your office and a general information about what you're doing with the and then from there we'll go to Leila, Secretary.
Okay. Unong kita no, Glenn?
Then okay, we'll speak tomorrow. All right.
Buenas para todos sa mga ikong kinigi Marianas Agupa no. Good morning, Secretary. Good morning, Secretary Norita and then Staffler. Glenn, Uncle Glenn no, the cabinet member tulo no manyanyet bizugi under opisina ni Office of Planning and Development the mafaisin sa pabi ano pa gininawagan gi programa para bi na IDD update no izokuro no engineers gi Office of Planning and Development za no monitor i project gi za Garapan kanto iti OLI Sports Complex.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Iglesias. Let's go to Secretary Staffler. Buenas.
Buenos dias, todos. I'm happy to come and share what information about the Department of Labor that has been happening. We've been updating our website, trying to streamline and go more digital, just like Secretary Narita was sharing. Good morning to everyone, and thank you for inviting us to be part of the show to share the good news about the different things that are happening and giving people the update.
Great, thank you. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna go back to you guys. We're gonna continue with Secretary Narita. Okay, so going back with the previous issues that our people are raising, the issue of our budget. Are we okay from here on to pay our retirees? Is something needs to be done? Is the legislature need to do something quick? Is the administration needs to do something quick about the retirees pension? Tell us about that. How are we looking in our finances?
Okay, thank you for that question, Glenn. That is actually a multiple question there.
Okay.
And so I want to try and simplify things. And so I think the question there is how are we doing? How's the economy? How's the budget? And how does that affect the retirees? And so first I want to state that the economy is such a large, complex topic, large, complex thing that we must take into consideration all the different things that are happening around us. And, that is not only just the government finances, but also our labor workforce, the construction projects that are going on, our main tourism industry, the regional activities, the military buildup between Guam and the CNMI. And so there's so many things that play into how our local economy is doing, how our revenues look like, and how we forecast for our budget. And so to keep this simple, I would simply say our economy is in recovery. And when we say recovery, we mean, at least I would say, we've gotten through so many disasters, we've gotten through COVID, we've come out of ICU, and now we're in recovery.
Okay, so we have passed the rock bottom already, or we?
I hope so.
So we're getting up.
Yes, so I'm hoping that COVID was the lowest, that we will go, and from there, we are in recovery, right? And
great explanation.
We are, so when you say we are in recovery compared to when, and so when we look at this, we think about our performance pre pandemic,
Okay.
right? And so you can see MBA has been issuing their tourist arrival comparison, and they're always comparing to pre-pandemic. When is pre-pandemic? That's 2019, 2018. And so the most recent numbers that came out of MBA is in February, we were 58%, about 50% of pre-pandemic. So we were here pre-pandemic and we're right there, 50% in February. In March, they just released we're 30% pre-pandemic. So there you go. We're making our way up, but we're not yet there. And so pre-pandemic arrivals for tourism. As far as our economy and our collections, it's been a challenge to forecast our revenues because there's been so many big events that have affected our economy in the past 10 years. And so when we tried to find the data that would really reflect or somewhere similar to where we're at now, we had to keep going back. We go back to pre-pandemic, and then pre-YouTube, and then pre-Sodalore, and go back even pre-casino, because all of those things are not happening right now. So really the data that we could compare to is actually 10 years ago, 2014.
Do you have analysts in your office?
Yes, I
looking
do.
at those numbers?
Yes, and we pull the data to see that since we don't have those factors anymore, what are we closely tied to? We're closely tied to 2014, and that's where we're going to have to grow from. We're going to grow from there.
All right. So the next question then is, where do you see us getting to that pre-pandemic level? When is your projection? Do you see us meeting that target by next year, by the end of the Palacios administration, 4 years from now?
I definitely hope so. We're always hoping that it would happen sooner rather than later. Again, it highly depends on the economic activity, and that's why we're tracking our tourism industry and the comparison of our arrivals now compared to pre-pandemic. So the more activity that we get, the more arrivals that we get, that's going to tell us, are we getting there? And how long is it going to take? We don't know, because if we get an influx of other source countries coming in, then sure, we're going to get there faster. But
so you're communicating with MBA in terms of numbers, tourist arrival. Do you know any number of how much does an average tourist spend here when they come for a day, 2 days, whatever the average? How much money did they spend? Do you have the number?
I don't have that number with me today, but I do know that MBA does their forecasts and their tracking. And so they go into the detail. They follow the tourists, and then they share that data with us to incorporate into our forecast. So the right person to ask is MBA, and I'm sure that they
and
have
also
that answer.
maybe commerce. Maybe they should, because
Sure.
they should be tracking those, and they should be letting you know. And the reason why that's why I asked you, so because it's very important that they report that information to the Secretary of Finance, because you're the one looking at the numbers and budgeting. In other words, with the OMB, right?
Yes.
And let me give you a historical perspective here. When I was working as a economic officer at the Department of Commerce, we did a study on that. Back then, that was 1995. And guess what? The tourists here, when they came, they go back to Japan with $700 in their pocket. We found that out through exit survey. So that means that they didn't spend everything, but the money that it's in their wallet, we could have tapped that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you can work your way into your cabinet people. But okay. The other question here before I go to Mariano, because I got a question for the Mariano and Leila especially about the labor, is how much federal funds brought in during the calendar year when you guys took over the administration from the previous administration in 1 year, how much money you brought in, federal funds brought in under this administration compared to the previous administration?
You know, Glenn, I wish I had these questions in advance because I would have definitely
Sure,
brought
but
these
you have that
numbers in. I'm pretty
okay.
sure we can get you a number.
Sure. We can bring you in maybe 3 months, 4 months from now.
Yeah, sure. Yes, I'm writing down these specific
But you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
The people wants to know comparatively, because we always compare previous administration to current administration, right? So how much money did this administration brought in from January after inauguration, 1 year after calendar year, compared to the previous administration? That's a fair question. I'm not putting anybody in a bind here. The people would like to know that because we're looking at the future too. You know, it's fair to ask the question, right? I mean, you know, so if you don't have it, don't worry about it.
We can definitely provide it in the future.
But okay. Anything else before I go to Mariano and Leila? You want to add on?
I wanted to
let the people know what's going on here.
I also wanted to share, just yesterday, I was with the MPLT, Marianas Public Lands Trust, and they did have a trustee meeting, and we made significant progress on the line of credit that we've been working with MPLT and the legislature. We've finally come to an agreement that is both beneficial to the CNMI and to MPLT, and so I just wanted to commend them on their partnership with the administration, and that it's looking good, that we can finally move forward with all the pending projects that Mariano is also leading, and we hope to get that funding available very soon, and so that's a great news for the contractors that are standing by, ready to start moving forward. So very happy to announce that.
All right, great, Secretary. That's a very good information. Let me go to Mariano for a sec here. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this question, but regarding the Northern Marianas College funding, is that a FEMA funding, Mr. Iglesias? Can you give us a brief status on that? How much money have we gotten on that project for the Northern Marianas College?
Uncle Glenn, sa lamiga na project siya Northern Marianas College no may implement no pag na momento makakahat ni kantonsalan no student center ni recent groundbreak no visa no mapato na fondo ginin FEMA, Department of Education, pati CIP no dus lamiga na federal funding no manadanya pero makahaden na student center guahat otro ni tatoti dos na EDA project, uno $13 million ni para i-CREDS, which is the Center for Research Extension and Development no center, uno na building ni pamakahat ginin EDA. Otro is the Workforce Development Center, Training Center. 10 million is $10.3 million is ginin EDA. Nigi dos na project that's under design right now. Perfect segue si Secretary Tracy ni mention na po di line of credit no dongkulo na azudo no Uncle Glenn sa di dokko level no inisisita ni po kalamtin isisya project ya no inimangagi under design sa utungan na kada no mamanagan namin gatig yung Secretary of Finance put no salapi pamapasi vendors contractors utungan na kakasa silo niya sa tsek morning ni poro posodaya mi salapi za dongkulstin na azudu iji ipagaano nun siya si Secretary Norita ni poro azuda i-project poro Kalampin Mosque no so no anong program gi banda ni Northern Marianas College no siya bay opsyo
Dalig mo no lamigay na funding sources para inaposis siya yung NMC na development. Oh, okay.
Si Student Center no dumadaan niya i-FEMA, i-Department of Education, i-CIP, Dr. CIP no office manazuda gilokit. Sige na posible na Student Center. Nigi pa ako na tali i-rebars mga kulot sa hopefully isolve ko sa po munaza ni na project. Then waha talo dos na building tapati esta para tisogo ko munaza ni design ni gina waha sa no fondo ni sinya no makubri para construction za na salapig ni MPOT todos din na effort ni administration manaliligo para check office niya ni para makubri i-project siya ni para matutuhon ni construction.
Okay. Okay, in totality, kwanto todo daging una danya siya i-sinsigo siya kwanto na salapi para uchineti po funazan in Northern Marianas College. One number na no para katuya.
No.
From different kwanto todo para masalakon ni Northern Marianas College.
Gipresenti EDZI Student Center $28 million EDZI idos na EDA funded project ni para umatutuhon no kana $24 million EDZI no putori dos pues esta malalamting gipresenti no esta mamatitsu kana kasi no $50 million no mamatitsu na pun da waha mosque EDZI sa ito niya no master plan no imbrarasa mosque EDZI i-tres na building pago the mosque i-estimate di para makahad i-tobri i-campus no mosque i-akwa pago talili i-50 million.
It's $50 million committed and is obligated para matsugi college. Itatutuhong mamamayla, no? So, commitment is then obligated para matsalapon the Northern Marianas College 50 million.
Senior.
Okay, start. I think we got that's a good base figure to understand what is the multiplier for that. So we can anticipate, the next 3 years, for example. So, 50 million, manyago sa 100 million by itself, no? Tungo sa the multiplier, no? So, at least you have that number, 50 million. No, dili ko nagwagwa ha, mamamayla tayo para mauling policy. So that's a good question. So that happens if that building is completed. Simply siya mumaulit muna ito niya kasi the economy will be good in your projection within the next few years. So that's a good indication. Okay, thank you, Mariano. That's a very good information. There's hope at the end of the tunnel. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe within a couple of years. Use muscle.
Una ko lang din asa na una na agency gintri todo i-implementi governmento, right? So una na agency bula siya pakti government ni malalang siya no
sa pawis niya tagaychin na even at project no siya na 50 million 100 million right? We don't know honestly multiplier by the time it transfer from one pocket to the next pocket no because it's a good indication dealing mo na siya siya projects also, right? So that's another positive news under Istina administration. Good, very good. Then we go to later, Mariano. regarding, I know, good morning, Taluno, Mrs. Staffler. Part of the measurement of a good economy is how many people are employed. So I want to ask you, how many people, how many are employed today?
I think you asked a really great question. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What I've noticed is that one of the things about being a territory is that we often are not included in data collection that are happening in other states or even other territories. So to answer your question, the most recent data that would show how many people are in the workforce is actually our census, which is in 2020. There is a current or a future survey coming out of Commerce that will restart what used to happen since 2017, which I believe was the community population survey. And that is one that they used to do prior to the installation of the U.S. CNMI Workforce Act in 2018. When that happened, it diverted the resources of Commerce to do the prevailing wage survey. So we no longer collect that data particularly. However, I believe they are going to be doing that this year, starting up again. I think they got a TAP grant for that.
Okay. Okay.
But
So
I would like to comment, if I may, to piggyback on kind of what Secretary Narita said and Mr. Iglesias talking about the economy and what's happening in our community. Another part of that is building up our workforce, because the workforce is one of the main foundations of the economy. And what I and the Department of Labor would really like to do is encourage our people to take advantage of so many of the programs that we have to get people skilled in any topic that they're interested in. We have so many jobs in hospitality, as Secretary Narita was talking about. I also, in our data, see that there is an increase in numbers coming from the different CW funding that comes, because it's been increasing compared to the previous 2 years. We can also see increases in the amount of job vacancy announcements that are posted on our website, and also the interest of people seeing our website and going into looking for jobs that are available there. But I want to extend that further, because with the WIA program, the Workforce Investment Agency that has been in the CNMI for many, many years, there's a lot of funding there available to provide training. So if people want to take a class at NMTI or NMC, or even with the other training providers that we have on island in hospitality or medical, in the medical industry, and by doing so, they skill themselves up in a job skill that they really have interest in, and then we can connect them through internships, through pre-apprenticeships, through apprenticeships, which on the business side can provide a great return on investment, because the WIA program provides incentives for businesses to join, provides reimbursements for salaries and training costs and equipment and things like that. And it's all tailor-made to the business. So it's a win-win for the person seeking employment and the businesses who are looking so hard for people to work in their places. It's different, like Ms. Tracy was saying, that like the data that we have in patterns is hard to read in our workforce data too, because of the interruption with no longer having immigration and having different visa types and all of that has changed from 2008 up to today. I also have a hard time being able to forecast and see everything, but we can see that the baselines have begun to improve. And the best thing that I can offer right now is to get our people trained, because in order to really give people upward mobility, they have to get some kind of education and training, and we can help do that. And there's so many jobs that are needed in the community, and we can help connect people. So please take advantage of that and look at our website, and please take advantage of what Department of Labor has to offer. Thank you.
Ms. Leila, so you're saying that the website is up and running, and can you tell how many people are actively looking for a job on a given week? Is that something that's
yes, I can.
the system can report to you? Is your website can actually monitor the people who are actively seeking employment, because that's the only way to find out the unemployment, right, for the past 4 weeks. So is that system capable of reporting to you how many people are engaging in seeking for a job, or do you have like a job fair where you can tabulate people
Yes.
looking for a job, so we can determine how many people are actively looking for a job, because that's a representation, right, of unemployment. Do you have that capability in your website?
We do. The website was launched in March, so it's only a month and a half old. So our data is still really new in comparison. And so I don't have the analytics on me today, but yes, we plan to include that in our quarterly reports, which we do post online on our website. With respect to job fair, yes, we do have job fair numbers from last year. It was our highest participation job fair in years. It was over 700 people came to the job fair. Some places, like some businesses, had 300 applicants in that day. It was amazing. Now, how many people could get hired in that time is one thing that we don't have the capability of tracking just yet. Like Secretary Tracy, we are also trying to digitize and get more computer savvy with our programs so that we can be able to produce reports. So we're working on that now so that we can give you better numbers like what you're asking. That's not something we were able to do, but we're working on it.
Okay, so the number from the job fair you're saying is 700. It's good that people are participating, but on the flip side, that number represents unemployment. So it might not be a good indicator for our community, because that's a number of people that is unemployed. But then again, some people they don't want to work because they rather go fishing, those kind of things. So that can be let go in the numbers, like you delete those numbers. But those
Yes,
people
you're
who
right.
actually show up, we got to be concerned about those people who are showing up, because that is a representation of unemployment.
And I want to applaud them for showing up, because there's a lot of businesses who really need employees. There's so many businesses that are short in staff right now. I know that many hotels don't have enough staff, and that suffers in the service that they provide, and it's part of their brand, and it's a concern for them as well. And so we are working hard to try and connect them with interested applicants, but we need more people to join our programs. Is also, and like you're talking about the fishermen might be interested in taking a plumbing class, and maybe that fisherman might open a business and be an entrepreneur. And I mean, I don't know about you, but there's not many plumbers that we can call. I wish someone would do that. Please take advantage of it.
Okay, great exchange, Secretary Staffler. I like that. You're energetic, open up opportunities. But then again, on the other side, it's the businesses that really, if they don't have the funding to hire, it's very tough, especially now.
WIA can actually help with that. There's multiple programs that WIA has, from trainees that we can subsidize for 100% for 60 months based on a training plan that is agreed with the employer. We also have pre-apprenticeships and apprenticeships where we can reimburse the employer by up to 50% of what they pay. And there's different ways to get their return on investment. So yes, there is struggling for businesses, but that's why joining WIA programs can help businesses be able to save some of their money in their startup, or in their efforts to get back on track since pandemic. So we're here for that.
So WIA is under the Department of Labor? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's one of the many divisions, and it's a fully federally funded division with excellent staff who are there outside in the community. We have offices. Actually, we're part of the newly opened CK SARS center there, youth center / everything center. We will have staff there so that as people are needing, to get connected to supports for SARS, they can also get connected into work, efforts. And so We're also at food stamp office when they have their distribution days. We also have offices at a few different places. I believe San Vicente Youth Center. I thought we had somebody at Carolyn in Ut, but I'm not really sure if we're still there. And I think there's 1 or 2 other places that we were located.
Okay. One quick question, Secretary Staffler. Give us an update on the pandemic unemployment assistance. Is that still, do we have funding for that? How many people are waiting to get paid?
Great question. When I first came to the Department of Labor, the PUA program had a very clouded reputation, but because it was also not really communicated about the main process. And I will tell you, it's a very complex process. But with the way that we've reorganized, in the beginning when I came in, I think there was about 3,000 people waiting for adjudication alone. Adjudication is the first step in the claims process. And last year, the team worked so hard that we're now down to only about under 200, like 190, 170 in the adjudication pool. Now, those numbers that were there in the 3,000, some of them get paid out depending on the process of their adjudication. Some of them might be referred to the benefit payment control, which is a further auditing group. Also, because the program is a federally funded program, we have to follow all of the changes that come down from the federal partners. And because this program was really kind of hastily thrown together, even in America standards, and so rules changed a lot. So there are some cases that, like, we had to reopen based on audits that were done that showed that we were in error. And so in that case, we had to reopen cases. So right now in the auditing space, we have about 2,000 people waiting to be audited. And those audits do take longer because of the audit process. It's always more complicated, verifying multitudes of documents. And so in general, we've moved a lot in the direction of paying out, but we also have still a backlog that we can expect to finish. We are looking at getting an extension to the program for between 6 months to a year, which we should be getting news for this week or next week, I'm praying. But then the main point is that we have enough money to pay everyone who will be paid based on their results of their audit or adjudication. And no one should worry that there isn't enough funding. As long as they met the requirements and met the deadlines, because that's another thing. There's been a lot of deadlines that actually just hit maybe last week. And if you didn't make the deadline, this is where I have to say, you know, we do not make these deadlines. These are federal rules, and we have to follow these federal rules. If anybody knew me as a principal, they always know that following directions is very, very important, especially for federal. And this is something that we cannot bend as far as the way sometimes the culture is. Oh, can we just, it's just a day late. I'm sorry, we have to follow the federal guideline. So PUA, it's big, it's complicated. There's a lot of people still waiting, but we've moved a lot of people and have paid a lot of people out in the last year. So I can expect that this program should be in its end by next year.
Okay, thank you, Secretary Staffler, for that update on PUA. Let me get to our Secretary of Finance here. One area here that maybe I just need your you know, I don't know if you're looking at this as a possibility again. The transportation industry is an essential component in the overall economy. We understand, we've seen the directives, the termination of the Marianas Southern Air. Looking at this from hindsight, is it still your position to terminate that agreement, or is there any way that we could have saved that company to bring about you know, an additional transportation? They're about to get launch to international flight, if I believe that was correct. That's their plan. But is there something that you still, you know, hold true to that termination because of the contract provision, or is there any way that this administration is looking into other ways to assist companies who wants to open a air transportation in particular?
Great question, Glenn, and thank you for that. I think you're bringing us back to 2023
Yes.
when this administration came in, and we had to stop the bleeding in terms of ARPA funding, and that required us to look into all the outstanding obligations of the government, and it was massive. And looking at the funds that were available versus the funds that were obligated, there was a huge imbalance. And so our first point of action was we have to reduce the government's obligation. And that was one of the major contracts, like and unfortunately, it was one that had to be terminated along other large contracts that we had to deobligate and terminate. And so as far as inter-island travel, I know that the COTA, the Commonwealth Transportation Authority, that's led by Miss Alfreda Maritita Camacho, and they're doing a fantastic job of building the bus route system here on Saipan. But I know their next big project is the ferry service and getting a grant to fund that project. And so we're looking into other ways that the CNMI can build up its transportation service, assisted by the federal government, of course. And I know that they're making progress in that project. So it's very hopeful for us that although we lost another type of service, we're also looking into starting a new one, and they're making progress there. So I'm very excited for COTA and what they're able to do there. I've heard that there's other interested airlines as well looking for inter-island travel and even travel between CNMI and Guam and Hawaii. And so I know that the CNMI is definitely still in that industry, and there's still a lot of interested investors. And I'm just excited to what that's going to look like, because I know that there's active involvement with these investors to plan a way forward with the CNMI. So there is hope, and there is activity on building this ferry service. And so one step at a time, but things are definitely coming.
So that funding that was provided by the previous administration to the Marianas Southern Air, right? That's federal funds, right?
Yes.
Is that fund still available, or is it already depleted?
Those specific funds are already depleted.
Yeah. Depleted already.
Yes, and so what we had to do was reconcile again, go and reduce the government's obligations to match what we will be available to pay, and that's out of fairness to the vendors, knowing that they have a contract yet the government is not able to pay. And so what we decided, our strategy was really to focus on critical operations. If this is how much we have left to support us, we don't want to be on life support. So what do? We have to cut down. And so what did we prioritize? We prioritized communications. We have to keep our lines open. We have to make sure people are able to call 911. We have to make sure that there's fuel available for police, first responders, for critical activities. We have to make sure that our health insurance, that was the largest one, because people's health, there's 7,000 people covered by our health insurance plan. And that was one of the largest struggles that we had last year. We had to work with our providers yes. Aetna. Every week I had to get on a call with their finance team, because what did we have to do? We have to find the money, recover, and pay. Recover and pay, and that's all that we've been doing. It's been a huge challenge, and I'm just grateful that I have to stay in constant communication with our vendors, our communication vendors. They have been very patient with us as we, first of all, cut down on the government's costs. I got a listing of all the active cell phones, all the active phone lines, and we just had to slash across the board. And that was the reality. And I'm glad that we
tighten the belt.
Yes, tighten the belt. And the vendors, to their credit, they've been our contractors. They've been very patient with us, and our private sector. They are really the ones that are lifting the CNMI up. They've been holding us up, allowing us to do the work that we need to do and still provide service to the government. So very grateful that we have those strong partnerships here in the CNMI, that we really work together. And I'm just glad that we were able to make it.
What do you call this? The something that is very much spreading like wildfire in the community, and that is the Boost program. Can you tell our community, what's the Department of Finance is doing to collect those? I don't know if that's a collection, or what is the Department of Finance doing about the situation with the Boost program? And is there funding available? What about those applicants who are still in line? Are you going to open that up again, or what is the status of the Boost program?
Glenn, I thank you for that question. Great question. I know this is a very relevant program that has been in the news, in the media, and in the community a lot. And so the role of the Department of Finance at this point is to assist in the investigations. And so when this administration came in, and of course, one of the priorities was figuring out what happened in the Boost program, it required us to first have all the recipients comply with the terms, which was provide us all the information of your application, what you were supposed to use the funds for, and did you use the funds for what you said you were going to use it for. And you'd be very surprised of what we received. And at that point, what finance did was collect all the information, and then we prioritized the high risk versus the low risk. And the high risk, we are working with the Office of the Attorney General and the Office of the Public Auditor to do further investigation and forward for legal action. And so the collection process is not through the Department of Finance. It's going to be through the legal process. And so how do we get there? How do we collect these funds back? We have to investigate. And yes, if you are wondering whether it was used properly, yes, there are some that used it according to what they said. And there were people that used it in other ways. They applied for a certain project, yet the funds were used for something else. And that was high risk.
Do you see the program being reactivated again?
At this point, I don't anticipate. At this point, we are focusing, like I said, on just the critical services of the government. And ARPA is coming to a close. And so our focus is on
para todo sa siya iman manlananggan ay programan busbusi kana taza siguro gini ni secretary so ako na tempo tunga na a lot of people have applied and they're still waiting if they're gonna open it up again because they have the license and they are engaged in business prior to those things, and they were given an opportunity, and yet other people didn't even have a business license and they got that program. So, so that's because of time. Let me go back to Leila. I got one question for Secretary Staffler. I hope you're still high energy. Secretary Staffler. Can you let our community know what jobs that you can? Well, maybe the question is, what is the division or Department of Labor's role with regards to the Northern Marianas Technical Institute? And is there any way that you can streamline the certification process for people who wants to know just electricity. Just to teach them electricity, you certify them, and they'll be able to work at Hyatt as an assistant or training. Is that something that it's feasible or doable for you to work with Northern Marianas Tech to issue that certification for specific type of job?
I'm really glad you asked that question. That's exactly what we're doing right now. We have a strong collaboration with NM Tech and NMC for people who are interested in pursuing training and educational courses in their interest area, and also getting them connected with businesses so that there is employment opportunities post taking the courses. That would be through our pre-apprenticeship program. If someone is already working, like for example, right now we have all this buildup happening up in the north of Tinian. There's all kinds of construction happening on Saipan with the CDBG homes still going up, with NMC, right? All these construction. Anybody who's already working in a construction company that is a U.S. citizen or U.S. eligible worker can be apprentice already. And that business can already get a return on investment by signing up with our programs, so that they can have this person that they already have on payroll to be part of our program to get certification, just like you're talking about. Through our program, they can get certified and still keep their job, and the place that they are working at benefits as well, because now they have the skilled person. This could happen at a hotel. If a hotel already has someone that's employed as a maintenance but wants to learn more about electricity because maybe their main electrician is leaving because he's retiring or whatever, now is the time for that hotel to use their main electrician to be this journeyman for this trainee person to shadow and learn from, and through NM Tech take the classes, the safety courses, get all of that stuff to become certified through the Department of Labor program, will then become certified through the U.S. Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program. And so then they have this piece of paper that shows that they are certified in the industry that they're interested in or that they're working in. And so, yes, we provide that. We already do it. We right now have 30 apprentices ongoing in all kinds of fields. The one field that we don't have apprentice that I'm really hoping to get apprentice is construction. Construction is the #1 job needed in the CNMI for the last 40 years. Seriously, for the last 40 years. It represents up to 70% of the JVAs in our system every year. Maintenance, installation, and repair are like the next 3. Hospitality, and of course, sales and other administrative jobs are in those top 10 as well.
All right. Great information. Any program that would assist the retirees to learn new skills without paying for tuition, just like they're doing in other states? It's free for the elderlies to learn a new skill without paying for tuition. Anything like that coming from your office?
Our programs are from youth age in school to out of school youth to even what we call dislocated workers, who are people who haven't been in the workforce for a while, at whatever age. We serve at any age, and we actually have priority populations with veterans, people with disabilities, and well, those are the main ones. But we do serve anybody, whatever their age is. So please come.
But the tuitions is all subsidized by your office, or what? Is it free?
The tuitions have a structure, to be honest, I am not 100% familiar with, because I oversee the whole department that has multiple things. I have experts in WIA that tell those things. But yes, the training classes can be free, depending on which ones you sign up for. Right now, we have a Quest grant, and so those training programs are free, and all you have to do is sign up for them.
See if you can get the Manamko for free, okay?
Yeah. And I'm sure that they probably have skills that they could share too. Because I know, for example, NM Tech is looking for someone to help them teach courses on Tinian. We want to expand these classes on our sister islands, because they have people that also want training and access. Like Rhoda, I know they have a part-time instructor, and in Tinian, they're looking for someone who, so if you're listening and you are a jack of all trades kind of person, man or woman, NMTI is looking for someone like you to be their point of contact and instructor for courses on Tinian. So please reach out to them.
Thank you so much, Secretary Staffler. Let me go to Mr. Iglesias, and then see Tracy from Finance will close the show today. Mariano, okay, last question for Mariano. Apa no natan guatalu utru man mapatubagi na programa din ng EDA or dili pero panhalom no ibu for this year or next year? Any project that is significant coming to our shore?
Glenn, i-presente no guaha no dos na EDA grants no ni gay pago di ma-award esta no sinamay is the tourism grant ni ma-award OPD lo no ma-transfer ka to gi MBA pues MBA pago no mo maneneno na grant tourism grant no tigof dangkulen na grant lo apa nangyezi nigi no nebo yotro no it's a planning grant with a CZ economic recovery no study ni no nebo no na grant no na project no ni kumalalamtin pa na momento no hopefully munaza no na study by the end of this year no is nasaktan the no sinya mas manazuda na plano gibandan economic recovery no pero identifikat siya apa na industriya no cinema sinya pursue para o expand dan waot identifika apa siya na programa ni sinya no kumalamtin ekonomiya ni cinema.
Okay. Jules Masi talo Marian. May tutulong sa kung sige mo na, sige talo no Zoomatic say gratis na siya man magpagin ng EDO. Kaya let's go to the Secretary Norita, the Timono Secretary. You know, I know that the administration relies on your advice so much. Do you give advice to Governor Palacios objectively, not to make him happy, but to tell him what it is,
Great question, Glenn,
yes.
and thank you so much. I'm so grateful for the relationship that I have with the governor, and I'm grateful for his leadership. And as to your question about objective advice, that is the only way to go. And it's funny because I always tell the governor, don't look to me to always bring good news.
Yes.
I'm the one that brings mostly hard news, right? But the hard decisions that need to be made. And I'm glad that we have open communication in this administration with both the governor and lieutenant governor. And we come to the table and discuss these hard issues at length. I'm in their office all the time, and I appreciate that because we do need to have a lot of communication with everything that's going on. There are so many issues that I'm involved with, from CUC, CHC, the retirees, and it requires a lot of communication, a lot of information that I need to provide to them to help make the best decision for the CNMI.
Even if it's bad news.
Even if
Yes,
it's bad
that's right.
news, of course.
That's
And I'm just glad that they're open to seeing what the bad news looks like, right? And all the information available, and then using that to make a good decision. And I'm glad that I've been able to witness their leadership in working with the legislature, even recently, to fund the retirees 25%. That was a huge thing that we've been tracking. And I'm glad that the leadership of the CNMI had come together, including CEDA, to find funds available to support that. So that's just one example of being part of those big decisions. The hard decision of we may have to cut, but then this is where other leaders step up and work with the administration and find a solution. And I'm so glad to witness that.
All right, Secretary, and thank you so much, Mr. Mariano Iglesias. Secretary Staffler, thank you for your time this morning. I'm pretty sure that our people are happy to hear the news from the labor, especially our local people. They want to hear good, bad news, whatever the news is in our language. I know that we speak in English, but I'm pretty sure that they understand. I'm going to try my best in the next Saturday or so. I'll keep bringing up the issue up and try to translate the information that you guys shared with me today. And to you, Secretary, thank you for being
so
here.
much.
And I appreciate your. I know that we have scheduled this for the longest time, but next time, maybe every quarter,
I'll be glad to come back.
I'll invite you again. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, I'll send you the image of this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, bueno, this Masi, Staffler, thank you. Again.
Adios.
Adios, Lope. Sedus Masi, pudi oras ta sa dinis ta i-tempo. Wala sabay usong kita gini. Para todo si maniiko gini. O nagasastinga si Gwela Gatiti. Okay, Gwela Gatiti no wa para on. All right, nangatalalo si Gwela Gatiti. Okay, Secretary, thank you. Okay. All right,
Finalina, malago zo na sa damkulo na si Zeus Masi para N3 na manggay gini gi programata akadira interesu si Director Secretary Staffler pwede dia sangan pwede oportunidad na eji kalani mafananan on the job training importante no sa manggay gitiempon tausa tauto para hire ne tauta neji mas mampus man skillful importante ni ki la uno ho atan loke gilo programanya si Staffler gua zonya competition oficina politika sa oficina politika man makonia jatso kata zoku skill be makonia za be manai 15-20,000 pues necesario no para no siya na praktiko za maila za tanafan no manggay tiningo za skill itaw-tawta kosa ki magahin no fan ma-emplea magahin na manera za no fan manay maulik na tsotso za fan mapasi maulik na tsotso ke demonus di afati mafananan matsetia za no kama po magogoti gidia zan no afati maalog iskoba ne po fan maniskoko ba. Pues, ini ki zonya competition si Staffler zangin tia tungo, pues bena tungo gin ini ki uno na zonya competition. Pues, challenge ki para aligo empeño afan na programa i oficina política na isinya na fan hall man may plepia gi presenti kosa ki ofan sa ono geno gi na programa o fangay tiningo o fangay praktiko na isinya man asetbi para i man mamamala siya na tempo. Si Zeus Masi talo sabi nito yung konversasyon lago na dia.
Alright, bonito magay. Para todos. Alright. Pudi ora magtitempo esta na para tahutsum dispensa para todos si Maneko gini. Di programan Marianas Agupa sa wala jatafan sige muna sa magti ora na para tahutsum. Sen agradece. Bisita na gumay gigwini si Secretary Tracy Norita, si Zeus Masi, todo lo ko i-informasyon. Siyempre, at ako ibida mga quarterly quarterly report na siya hanakan manunungit loki Toto Marianas hap masusesidi gi bandan Prenkas gi salapi gobernamento lagi inaw na siya tali do uno take away para pa na Sabado manaatut si tudos di siya sa siya fully recovered kolumyata gi halong 2 anyos talo titinan di magtuganaw di ito na level niya pre-pandemic manafaksa siyempre no galo ni 2 anyos na timpo pwede ha lataf-taf no gitagwini na karera muna siya mas bumaulik muna sa ninagwa oportunidad para tulog siya lalo gini ni programa Marianas Agupa in extended talon daw kulo na si Jesus Masi para todo do samzo manggay gwinigi islan sa ipan tinian sa luta iban ni luta gwenong islan Guam baneko online para si Jero Munya Santos Mariano Iglesias kini manggay no Eugene Tenorio alright si Jesus Masi por todo do tipon mizo para maneko si Jesus Masi saludo ginilhamin si Guela Agatete, si Luta. Masiyag mo na benay wagwa at sa kinya si Luta hananaya loki animo na para napanhuzong hapmat sa sidigi islan guha para tuludos ipanay ko winigit programata guha si Glenn H. Manglo. Nagwayza napamolik zampas para tuludos samzo adios wayza hamzo esta otro sábado si Jesus Masetan.